Man, welcome back to BrainFLoTv again, everybody, and shout out to the urban islands, the island that's urban, you heard me. Anyhow, Jim Jones is over here having a go at it with a U.S. Army, not an army, but a U.S. war veteran, a U.S. Iraqi war veteran. And the debate is that Jim Jones is saying that being a rapper is more dangerous than the war in Iraq. Now, I'm coming to find out that not a lot of vets or not a lot of soldiers are taking this easy. For a rapper to compare being a rapper to the war in Iraq, I can see how it would offend war veterans and military personnel who have served and have been deployed into a combat zone. I myself served and deployed into that combat zone as well. And I can see both sides of the argument, especially when it's laid out like how Jimmy laid it out. But taking it from hindsight, for instance, you're a soldier, right? And you look at a rapper, and the first thing you think when you look at a rapper is they write songs, they jump around on stage, scream in front of a whole bunch of people, they book shows. A lot of them pretend to be gangsters when they're not, because that's what sells. They get to be high all the time. They get to be drunk or inebriated in some way all the time. They make a lot of money. They live in big houses, drive nice cars, and have pretty women around them at all times. That seems like nothing in comparison to being strapped with 7 magazines, 30 rounds apiece, and 1 M16A4 and put on a plane with about 80 to 120 pounds of luggage strapped to you and dropped off in a combat zone where you can be hit by an IED or anything else can happen to you, and you hope to make it home. And before your tour of duty is over in that combat zone, a couple of the people that you know, that you train with, will not be making it back. And you're forced to deal with that when you come back, on top of the fact that you will be going back again pretty soon. So I see it from both sides. Now, according to Urban Islands, Jim Jones, he made a bold statement saying that being a rapper is more dangerous than being deployed to the war in Iraq. The phenomenon of death is powerful. The effects of losing someone you know or look up to is devastating and has a way of changing one's outlook, or the complete opposite, reinforcing prior positions held. For example, Juice WRLD's death, that made a whole lot of rappers start pledging and saying that, yo, I'm gonna get off the drugs. I'm gonna leave the drugs alone. He was too young and that stuff's killing us. That was another death. And then we had recently Pop Smoke, who died. And here we go again. Sadly, the gruesome way the thugs took out Pop Smoke is still fresh in the minds of many of his followers and his friends and his co-workers, so to speak, who have started to speak out on the not so cool aspects of being a rapper. And soldiers are thinking, okay, that's cool. You're talking about all the hazard that comes with your job. Now we know. But still don't compare it to us, because there is no comparison. Nevertheless, the statement from Jim Jones is getting mad attention. 2 Chainz himself took to Instagram, and he lists a whole bunch of stuff. He said, Instagram account, he's to share some of his past run-ins with not only rivals, but with the law as well. 2 Chainz says something like this. He said, I've been shot at in San Francisco. I got arrested in Maryland, LA, New York, and Oklahoma. I had a so-called standoff with police in Oklahoma. My Cali spot got broken into 4 times, all on tape. And one of them even left their phone in the spot. All since I've been a rapper, he wrote. Now, here's what a soldier had to say to Jim Jones. He tagged him on IG and he said this. He said, Mr. Amcor said, heard the comments you made about being a rapper is harder than fighting a war in Iraq. You allowed to have your opinions without any facts nor truth to it. But as a vet and a hip hop fan, I found it extremely disrespectful and ignorant. Here's some facts. My unit, which fought in Iraq in 2004, lost more Marines in 2 months than rappers in the past 3 years. Keep talking, but there is zero comparison. That's what he said to Jim Jones, right? And Jim Jones shot back, because you know Jimmy ain't shy. He don't have a shy bone in his body. He said, Jim Jones Capo said, at Mr. Amcor, here are facts. Every nigga I grew up with is either dead or in jail. So you want to compare death tolls? It won't add. You went to army and met ninjas. I'm going to say the word ninja instead of the You went to the army and met ninjas you never knew or grew up with. I grew up with all these ninjas all my life. So it hit different. You want to continue this debate? Y'all was shooting at kids and innocent people and bystanders in the midst of shooting at the enemy. We was kids shooting at kids. And that mentality split over to success. Remember, you knew who your enemies were. We don't. And everybody knows who we are because of our notoriety. So how do you protect yourself from enemies you can't see? We all wear the same uniform. Everyone is drippy. If y'all don't know now, that's the new talk. Drip. It was swag. Swag went out. So if you're still using swag, it's 2020. Update your stuff or they're going to call you a senior citizen. It's drip and drippy and dripping. I remember when Jerry Kerr was in, though, that was the drip. Anyhow, he continued by saying, but y'all had American uniforms on and the enemy had their uniform on. You had the choice of going to war. We didn't. We was at war when we was born. Let the church say amen. So what he's basically saying is getting into the military is voluntary. So you decided to join the military. You decided that you wanted to sign up for that. And you knew that that's what came with that. And just like many others who did not sign up for it, you could have done the same damn thing. But we had no control, or they had no control over the neighborhood, the environment that they were born into. So we were at war soon as we were born. Wow. 2 Chainz wasn't the only rapper to speak out about the occupation, as New York rapper Jim Jones also exposed just how dangerous it can get. Matter of fact, during an interview with Rap Radar, he went as far as to compare the hard streets of the American slums to fighting the war on the soils in Iraq. When questioned about his reasons behind his comment, he mentioned, because you're always on the defense. You don't know who's who. People can get right up on you and do something to you. You're always getting into beefs. To support his argument, he then mentioned the recent shooting incident involving a rapper. How many times you heard of rappers getting shot this week? Naturally, his comment and his opinions angered quite a few persons, some of whom have lost family members that were sent over into these war zones. One veteran proceeded, which I just talked to you about and just read his comments, This was not only a comment bashing Jim Jones for his views, with many persons calling on the rapper to apologize to the veterans. Jones did have a few backers who either claimed that joining the army was a choice or that both occupations are dangerous in their own right. I'm going to leave it right there for now. What I want y'all to do is use your smarts and leave your comments in the comment section below. Do you think that being a rapper is in any way, shape, or form more dangerous than fighting a war over in Iraq? Do you think that Jim Jones' explanation is valid? Or does he owe war veterans an apology? It's BrainFLoTv. I'm out. Peace.